Conquer Athlete, what's going on? It's Coach Tommy Palms with my main man, Jason Leiden. Today, we are chatting on Conquer Podcast. It was stupid. We got to redo. I don't know why.
No, we're gonna keep it raw.
Fuck.
And an F-bomb. This is the Conquer YouTube channel, Coaches Chats. This is our
We'll get
video.
banned from YouTube. This is good.
We're gonna let it roll.
Good. Okay. What up?
There
We're
we
chatting.
go. Raw, baby.
We're chatting.
Raw.
Conquer Chats, baby. Raw footage. Roll it. What's going on, man? What is today? Today's Wednesday.
How much have you done today so far? You're just like flying high right now.
I have not stopped since 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Not stopped.
Yes, your brain's racing.
I had a plan. I had such a good plan today, and it totally just got a train wreck at 11 o'clock. Total train wreck.
What caused a train wreck?
Nothing really that I could say, but it wasn't. Okay. It's not a bad thing, but it was just business related in the gym, and I was like, shit. So I just had to go work for like 90 minutes straight on like 120% effort. Everything went great, smooth as could be. We're good. But yeah, so now I finished up PT session with my man Brian. We did some wall balls, and now we are here. And after this, Winter's here. Winter flew in from Miami today.
Oh, nice. How long is she in town for?
Yeah, she's here until Tuesday. So she's going to be with me today and tomorrow. Then she's going to hang out with her old teammate Nicole on, I think, Friday. And then she's going to come back here on Saturday. And then she's going to go see Christian Harris on Sunday. So she's all over the place, but she's having a good time. She's literally just here to train and hang out.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's that.
All right. I love it. I love how
you doing?
You were like, I did a PT session with Brian. We did wall balls.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I hear you. That one sentence explains it all. No, man, I'm good. So wife's leaving tonight for a day, so I'm gonna be on daddy daycare tomorrow. And then but today wasn't too bad. One client in the morning, did a bunch of content yesterday. So today was just more like programming, trying to catch up with some programs,
nice
emails, laying some more foundational work for Conquer for this year, next year. And did jiu-jitsu today. I was rolling with this guy. He's a monster, man. He's like 6'4", 240 ex-D1 lineman. So he's a strength coach. So he like dropped weight. So he's like just quick enough, very strong, and just mobile enough to just destroy people. It's interesting.
Yeah,
but that was my day, right? And then here I am. Yeah. Now here I am. So with these coaches chats, Tommy, what do we got?
Yeah, so this stems from people, the questions that I get from some of our athletes or people that we don't actually coach. I would say it ties more into the beginner intermediate range of CrossFit athletes, or like member affiliate based kind of people. But the question is around developing skills for the sport of CrossFit. And I'm talking more specifically about people who like are trying to maybe get their first ring muscle up or go from like 1 ring muscle up to 5. And we could say that for like kipping handstand push-ups or strict handstand push-ups as well. Insert a skill, and that's kind of what we're talking about. And the discussion I want to have around it is your experience with people in developing skills, and what are some common themes of people who have these skills and can do them really well, and what are the themes of people who pick up on the skills really quickly, right? So let's kind of go into that rabbit hole, and then we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, that's a great question. So starting with the first part of the avatar of the person who does really well in new skills. Did I sum that up correctly?
It's definitely.
Okay. So I don't want to, it's hard because you and I were chatting about this and I don't want to take your thunder. So I want to say something quick on it, and then I'm going to piggyback it back to you. Strength wins. And I think that's one of the things that people miss out on is the individuals who are able to do new skills with more efficiency and proficiency possess a greater strength base for the requirements of that skill. Taking out, if we remove the discussion around mobility, right? Flexibility, range of motion, right? So they can move through the ranges well and move through the ranges well with load or force, however we want to phrase it, depending on the movement of the skill. The individuals that possess a higher strength around that do better in that 100% of the time, right? If you look at gymnasts and you take into account anything from muscle ups to bar pullovers to strict handstand push-ups to handstand walking, they are exceptionally strong in that. And when you take CrossFit athletes or really any athlete and you say, hey, all right, I want to work on strict muscle ups, strict handstand push-ups, if they possess that strong strength relative to the skill that you're looking to now build, they're able to perform that skill much, much better and then build upon that in the future, right? It's just like anything else. If somebody's weak as hell with zero structural strength, zero stability, and they're like, hey, I want to get better at a back squat, you're like, oh shit, well, they can't even do an air squat without, let alone loading up a bar on their back and putting their spine under external load, right? So the same things apply. If you possess a sound and sufficient amount of strength for the requirements of the skill, then you're able to pick up that skill a lot faster and do better at it than someone who doesn't. What do you got on that one?
Yeah, I agree, man. Alluding to what you were speaking about, how we were kind of chatting prior to starting this up and talking about, how strength wins, where I think a lot of athletes, they want to be able to develop these skills, which is great. And I think a lot of them think they're one drill away or one cue away from getting this new skill, when really it's like you probably just lack the strength to be able to perform the skill. Because like the ones who can just do the skills, like it's okay. Like they're like when they first learn it, like it doesn't have to be the perfect muscle up for them to get the muscle up. Like they don't need to have the perfect swing, the perfect turnover, right? And why is that? It's because they have this certain level of strength. So prerequisite strength from what I've heard and around over the years to get a muscle up is like if you could do 5 strict pull-ups and 5 ring dips, you could do a muscle up. And it's like, yeah, maybe you have the potential to do one, but is that really what we want to set the standard at? Having the capacity to just do one muscle up, right? Where what about trying to accomplish 15 strict pull-ups and 15 ring dips so that when you go to try your first muscle up, it's not the ugliest thing in the world, one, and two, you have the capacity to then try to actually build on it for weeks and weeks to the point where maybe you're able to do like 4 or 5 ring muscle ups in a row.
Yeah, like 100%, right? And we can go down some rabbit holes with some self discoveries and examples around this. And if I speak about myself, I can name 3 things. If I pick apart the handstand push-up, the muscle up, and the clean. When I first got into CrossFit 16 years ago, it was a different game. Whereas I'm going to call it like the world of hacks. It was this huge concept of how can I, cheat the system and do muscle ups and handstand push ups. And it wasn't about doing strict muscle ups. It wasn't about doing strict pull ups. It was about the kipping action, right? And all those other dynamic contractions around the movement. And then I went through this period of doing every single skill component I possibly could, Tommy, to improve handstand push ups, specifically strict handstand push ups. And I think the max I literally ever got to because of my shoulders, and I don't even know how to explain this, was maybe like 3 to 5 strict unbroken. Whereas I've had plenty of athletes come into the gym with zero background with being upside down their hands, and I go through an assessment and they might get 18 to 20 strict handstand push-ups in a row, right? So their ability to acquire and pick up that skill was exponentially 100 times better than me, just due to the simple fact that their structural strength for that movement was 100 times better than mine. And then we look at the muscle up in individuals that can't do a strict 3 muscle up, lack weak upper body pulling strength. And not to put specific genders in the category, but we see this more and not so much more anymore, but you see this quicker in women who don't possess the strict upper body pulling strength are going to struggle with being able to complete lots of muscle ups less than someone that does possess better strict upper body pulling strength, right? And you can break any movement down. You take someone that wants to come in and say, hey, I want to get better at the clean. Well, if they have a 400-pound front squat, they're probably going to do really well at doing the clean, right? Versus someone that doesn't have the strength or the structural soundness to perform a front squat under heavy load, especially when you add the dynamic component of catching that barbell in the bottom position. So that reactive strength, and then the isometric strength of catching the clean, and then that concentric strength of standing it up. So many things are wrapped around that. And it really comes down to strength, right? And we're not getting into the endurance component of CrossFit. Tommy's question that he gets asked a lot was around the specific skill sets. And strength is going to win. And individuals that have put in time unknowingly, but have developed strength, or just are born with a better anatomical position and a better genetic makeup around strength properties and qualities, when they're going for a skill set that requires that, they're going to be better at it at first and in the long run than someone that doesn't. I mean, plain and simple, right? I'm sorry for people who aren't blessed in that area.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the strict handstand push-up was a really good movement for me, and I think that was because of my just like prior experiences of pressing and doing shoulder presses for 5 years, right? And then like I would notice the same thing with you. It's like someone was doing all these fancy drills trying to improve this aspect of the sport, and just wasn't capable of doing it just because they lack strength, right? So the real question from me to you is like, how do you feel about like drills? Like, how important are these drills in comparison to strength? Where do you kind of find the right line there?
That's a great question. And I think this gets lost a lot in the shuffle for a lot of people. For me, strength is number one. And then the drills are number two, right? I look at it like acquiring the understanding and having the prowess for the movement, and then how to fine tune the movement. You look at something like a basketball shot, and it's like, okay, what's the most important thing? Understanding proper form and putting time in to develop that form, or understanding body positioning when you're coming off a pick and trying to pull up for a jump shot? Well, form, because if you have terrible form, it doesn't matter about all the other shit. You're going to miss the shot probably 80% of the time. When we look at skills between handstand push-ups, muscle-ups, handstand walking, all that stuff, strength is the number one component first. And then the drills are the second part. And I think the drills do a really good job of improving capacity, improving proficiency under fatigue, improving efficiency when your heart rate's elevated, improving efficiency through different fatigue limiters, and improving proficiency for overall just demand of it. But if you do all the drills and you focus on that before you have the strength, yeah, you might increase maybe by 1 or 2, but then that's going to be it. Whereas if you focus on your overall strength, you're going to see a higher elevation of your functional ceiling. And then the drills will improve that movement from an energy expenditure and energy demand, because you understand how to move your body through space while performing those movements. But you already possess the strength to perform them well and for reps and time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And obviously, as we always know, everything is like dependent upon the person that we're looking at. Some people have all the strength in the world, but still can't seem to figure out the movement. I still don't think it's a drill issue, honestly. I would say that like if you have strength and still can't do certain things, I'd look more at like a mobility aspect. Sure, granted, technique can be a thing, but for example, someone who can't do a snatch, but has a 500-pound back squat and can pull well, it's probably like their overhead position is just absolutely atrocious versus like how close they're keeping the bar. That's just my personal opinion and what I've seen over the years. Similarly with like ring muscle ups, people could have really strong pull and great dip, but if they lack the mobility to be able to transition through the rings, that tends to hurt people a lot, unless they're brand new, of course. So the reason I just wanted to ask that is because, like, I've developed a lot of people with skills, and I obviously know you have as well. The amount of drills I've done to really build capacity is a lot slimmer than the amount of people that I just felt as if I had to get brutally strong.
Yeah. I think where drills come into line is when people have a poor neurological connection to the movement, where they're quote unquote just not athletic, right? You look
Yep.
at some people who can't coordinate their body to do certain things of a simple how to arch swing, right? Or when they get upside down, they have a complete distortion of body positioning and they're like all over the place. When people possess a poor athletic prowess of the movement or neurological connection, if you want to be kinder, that's when to me drills become more important because like, all right, we got to break it down and present and put in individual drills to either build strength with inside specific positionings, right? Like if they're weak at the second pull, well, okay, do you have to do more RDLs and pauses and halting snatch pulls and halting snatches, etc., and or explosive work to drive hip extension? For if they're poor with understanding the proper hollow arch position of the body through the muscle up, okay, well, is it a weakness drill thing? Or is it just a poor neurological connection? And then I think to me, that's where drills become more, to what I'm looking for, more readily used in proper
Yeah.
circumstance.
Yeah, I would say that like I'm definitely more prone to use drills for like Olympic lifts. Like I definitely don't go away from I use the hell out of drills when it comes to like Olympic lifting. I think that's a different ball game because of how technical it is. But just thinking more about the like in CrossFit, the level of gymnastics movements that we're doing are so beginner based. Whereas if we had to do some like crazy like gymnast moves, I'm sure there'd be a whole nother discussion around the importance of drills. But even like you said, you alluded to earlier, like how brutally strong these gymnasts are, like the way they could do strict ring muscle ups or strict bar muscle ups is insane. Where we probably have athletes in the world who can do 15 to 20 kipping ring muscle ups, but like do 2 to 3 strict. And you probably don't find that in the gymnastics field,
100%.
So yeah, I just thought that the viewers or the listeners who fall in line with this category, or maybe are coaches or whatever it might be, it's like, I think athletes are always coming to you thinking like it's always something wrong that they're doing. Like, oh, I just can't turn over, or I can't do this, or my positioning's wrong when I bring my head down for the handstand push-up. It's like, how much of it is really that versus like, man, like you just haven't spent the years developing the strength the rest of these guys have.
100%, right? And like sometimes that's a cop out answer from coaches, not what you said, but what I'm about to say. And a lot of times it's not. Like I have athletes who like, hey, why can't I get better at muscle ups? And a lot of the times my answer is because you're not fucking strong enough. Like you can't even do a strict ring muscle up to the deep chest position and hold it there. You don't have proper upper body pulling strength. That's why, like, we got to get you stronger at upper body pulling to improve your ability or give you the potentiation to be better at ring muscle ups, right? And so I think for a lot of coaches listening, like obviously don't use that as cop out, but also understand like all the drills in the world will not offset a lack of strength around the demands of the skill trying to be applied to the athlete.
I agree, man. And so that's a great point. And I hope this helps some people out. I think we can leave it at that. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, man, I think that's good. I think it's a great point to leave it at. If you guys have any specific questions for us around development of skills between gymnastics, weightlifting for the sport of CrossFit, be sure to leave a comment. And as always, give us a like, share, follow, give us questions. It gives us more insight, and the likes and the shares allow us to continually drive this information to everybody in this free source.
Boom. Raw footage.
Raw footage. Later, guys.